I forgot I even had this thing open. I was like, I wonder what that clicking is. Oh, now I know what that fucking sound effect was. It was people coming and leaving.
Dude, I did not hear a single thing until you invited me on stage.
Uh, I forgot that I started this
Oh,
thing.
nice.
And so I was just fucking doing something else. And then I heard these clicks. I'm like, what the frick are these clicks coming from? Is that Discord?
Oh, that's weird. I
No.
didn't see anybody like I've had the screen kind of like right in front of me. I didn't see anyone like
Oh, okay.
pop in or anything. As
That's all
far
right.
as I know, I'm the only person that came in.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good to know that, um, um, it's, we're alone together
Oh
now.
yeah.
That's the lowest I've ever heard your voice go.
Oh man, I am trying to be a little quiet right now, so
You?
I'm not like trying to be,
Uh,
like letting my voice boom.
yeah,
But I'm getting good at this
yeah.
like speaking like myself thing.
I was gonna say like I I can hear a tease, and I'm gonna slow down
Uh-huh.
so I can kind of match it as well. So I find when I speak slower that my voice will settle in somewhere.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, it's like finding the rhythm.
it's the wifey tells me that settle into the recording before you start recording.
Oh, so like start recording a little bit at first and then work your way
Yeah.
in, just cut out the beginning part or you're not really yourself.
Well, Christian has this ladder, right?
Hmm.
So the first take you do is flat, right? Where you try to keep the wave all the same height.
Hmm.
Has he done that with you?
No, not yet.
Right? Okay. So the flat take is like, I take today a wife, and my election is led on in the conduct of my will enkindled by mine eyes and ears. Just trying to keep the waveform from your audio
Hmm.
at the same peak.
Okay.
It's an interesting challenge because like usually we're trying to do all of this fucking pyrotechnics with our voice,
Hmm. We inflected a lot.
right?
Yeah.
We overinflect, like I just did,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And Christian will tell you that inflection is for manipulation,
Oh, geez. I hate that word, but also I understand that that's how our society works.
right? Right? There's not many deadpan pitches.
Mm-mm. Or many famous ones that I can like really think about, other than like cartoon characters and stuff.
I mean, do you know how good you need to be a comedian who's deadpan? How good the jokes themselves have to be written,
Yeah. I
right?
feel like there's tons of deadpan comics, but not always the best ones.
Right? But the ones that do it well, like fucking what's his name? Dogs are forever in the push-up position. Um,
Fuck, that's real.
a man gave me a frozen banana, and he asked me, "Do I want to eat a banana now?" And I said no, but I took it from him because I wanted to eat a banana later. I butchered it terribly there, but he just had like a bunch of one of these like all these one-liners,
Hmm.
right? And we delivered them deadpan. Uh,
And somehow made it work in a funny
well,
way.
Norm Macdonald made the deadpan work, right?
Hmm.
Right? He's like the anti-inflection. But and the thing is, you start really thinking about why you're doing all of this pyrotechnics with your voice.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I think the courses made me a touch meaner than I was before, actually, to other people.
Meaner or more abrasive?
Less, less friendly,
Okay.
and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think I was being
Overly friendly?
over accommodating. Yeah, I was being, and that's not authentic, right?
True. Yeah.
That's not, that's a false thing, right? So when I recognized it for false, I was like, so how long am I really going to be wearing this backpack? What?
Yeah. It's interesting. I've been like doing therapy and stuff, which has been awesome. And in it, I've kind of mm, finally admitted to myself that I uh, definitely have been a people pleaser, but I'm not really trying to focus on that. I'm trying to focus more on the fact that I would have originally identified myself as someone that anybody and everybody could get along with, which I guess is like people pleasing. And
Mhm.
through that, I think that I kind of created this role for myself where I don't
Mm.
really, go against the grain necessarily. While I do, but I don't. I don't know. I'm still working through it all in my head. And
Well,
putting,
there are consequences to that, right?
yeah,
To going against the grain interpersonally. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought you were insane for leaving your job,
yeah, yes, they were.
right? What they say to you when you told them.
Uh, well, not necessarily the job that I just left, but the job before. They thought that I was kind of crazy because I was doing something that I have been doing for years, and they just kind of thought that there was no reason to change, and I just wanted to change that.
How long have those people been in their positions?
Their whole lives. Hey, baby, give me one second.
Why wouldn't you want this life and all the things we have? In 20 years, you could be in this chair. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. So, how have you decided what you're going to change?
Sorry, I was talking to the wifey and
No, it's
then
okay.
setting
He
some
takes
tea up on
precedence.
the stove.
He takes precedence.
um, you asked, what am I going to change? What do you like in regards to what?
Yeah, like there's the five fingers of self-direction, right? What do you notice? What do you like? What do you dislike? What do you want to change, and how do you want to change it?
Hmm.
Right? I just found that I just started being someone else, and people either remove themselves from my circle or I just stopped talking to them.
Yeah, like once there's no connection or shared frequency, it kind of just does the work for your does the work
It
for you.
kind of does the work. You're right. Quinn told me a joke about how a girl told him, "Don't you love when the trash takes itself out to the curb?"
Yes, it's fantastic. Um, some what I want to change is I really just want to be more authentic to myself and like
Mhm.
not really let the opinions of other people like sway me the way that I did before. And I know that that's going to take some time, and it'll be kind of easy once I get into the groove of it. I understand that, but it seems a little
Well,
hard to do with people that like have known me for years and years and years because I don't
yes.
want to
Like,
seem like I'm switching up or some, evil thing like
um,
that.
well, you know what? If I was gonna do it again, right, I would have told the closest people around me that um, that I'm going through a few things and it may
Hmm.
be changing who I am. And it's perfectly fine for them to exit if they find that I'm obnoxious, because that's what ended up happening. Not obnoxious, but like
Yeah.
when you're no longer kind of just blindly serving other people's interests, they can when you stop doing it, they they can treat it as an offense.
Yeah. They're like, where the hell did my minion go?
Yeah, where did my ego minion go? Right?
Yeah.
I invited you here for a specific reason, right?
Yeah.
There's this concept called the looking glass self, and it says that we don't think of ourselves the way we think of ourselves. We think of ourselves in terms of how we believe other people perceive us.
Yes. Oh my God. That, yes.
So I put it to the top. It's this guy Cooley, his name was, and he called it the looking glass self.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm about to learn a lot about myself right now.
No, it's nuts. It's nuts. Our self concept is derived from what we believe others feel about our self concept. We derive our self concept from our perceived vision of how other people perceive us.
Mhm. Jesus Christ, man.
You know, sociology first year. It's a wild trip. You know,
Yeah. I wish.
even then, it blew my mind. Right, but I don't
What'd you
think I
say?
had enough
Even what?
experience to understand it.
You said
Say
even
again?
what in your mind?
Um, like it blew my mind when I first heard it,
Oh,
but I
okay.
didn't have enough experience to understand what it really meant.
Yeah. I feel like that's me for a lot of things. Just don't have that much experience. So
Hmm.
everything's like extremely novel and like a little overwhelming sometimes.
I don't think it gets any less novel.
That's awesome and terrifying.
It's very terrifying, right? I thought I would get to the point where I would need to stop reading, need to stop learning, you know what I mean? I'd
Hmm.
get to the zenith point where I can turn off that, and I'm like, I haven't found it,
I
right?
think when I was younger, I was definitely over relying on the idea that I would be like at a point one day where I can just coast. And I know now that that is just literally impossible. It's a constant climb upwards towards our higher self or our best versions of ourselves, however we want to phrase that.
You know, in the work I'm doing with these technicians, when I talk to them, I'm like, especially with the new ones, I'm like, essentially, you're deciding which ladder you want to be at the bottom of, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
sound glamorous. And I'm not saying you have to stay at any bottom of any ladder for very long if that
Hmm.
ladder is aligned with, what you love to do and all of that,
Yeah.
fuzzy stuff, right? Um, but, being at the bottom of the ladder isn't glamorous, you know?
Hmm.
There's no bottom of the ladder university.
The floor.
Yeah, yeah. Look at you. Floor at you.
Yeah. Everything's a
Uh,
fucking joke, man. That's hilarious.
you should start floor you. How to avoid trusting 20% promises on your money.
Oh my god. Or like it could just be really a school of how to be a novice at every single little thing.
And then we can be like, look, here's how to become intermediate and advanced, but you don't want to do that.
Not on everything. You have to choose what it is. And we have this novice course on not finding yourself and being very confused for hours and hours and hours. We won't answer any of your questions, but we'll let you know that you can improve. That's what
Mm.
life is, man. I feel it is, at least. I'm just like constantly like seeing things and knowing that things could be better and then not knowing how to do it. And I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta learn something here, man.
It's it's gonna sound con- contrite, but I I have to remind myself to be grateful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Constantly.
that's the fountain from which everything else comes, right? And
Yeah.
if you're thinking about what you don't have, then that energy is only going to bring that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm some fucking I figured it out.
Yeah.
I can articulate it, right? But describing a problem and solving it are two different things,
Absolutely.
right?
It's easy to
It's not.
find problems, not really hard, not really easy to solve them.
Well, we are also designed for threat detection.
Yes, that paranoia that really seeps in and tries to convince me that everything is a dumpster fire. Like,
Well, I think you can be grateful in a dumpster fire, I believe,
yeah,
right? You know,
I would agree. You could be happy that you're warm.
I mean, look, the mere fact that we have phones and an internet connection puts us in top tier. I don't care, There's a lot of people that would trade a lot of things to trade places with us.
Yeah, there are a lot
Like
of people that would love to live.
the vast majority of the human population, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine we had to stand across from all the people who didn't have, you know, running water and food and explain to them why we should have and they shouldn't,
Or a
right?
refrigerator.
Yeah, right. It's entirely arbitrary,
Yeah.
and that when I recognized how arbitrary my entire being was, I started realizing that maybe I need to give up some of these ghosts. And some of it's like the ghost of like hip hop, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And you're saying ghost as in like the ethereal thing or goat as in the greatest of all time?
Oh no, ghost,
Uh,
right? But I think it's intimately tied together because we kind of live in this life comparing ourselves to a goat, right?
mm-hmm.
And the difference between us and a goat is everything we kill ourselves over. Not even asking us if we want that life.
Mm-hmm. Being the greatest at something sounds awesome, but also not like it would be the best.
It's a
I don't
double-edged
know.
sword,
Yes, exactly that.
right? But we do have this competitive nature, right? And
Yeah.
I think it is functional to compare ourselves against people who are arguably in a better place, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think that's just naturally adaptive,
Some would say it's inspirational or like inspiration to
right?
look at those good
Well,
things and compare it
does
to
it
ourselves.
does it motivate or does it inspire jealousy?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, some noises going on there.
Is that my phone?
Ooh,
Okay,
and an
that's my
echo.
phone. Let me give you a shout. I'll call you back.
Oh my god.